Hey y'all, this is Antonio Santiago, aka Toniogaddy. If you've been keeping up with the news at all, then you would know that right now some massive protests are happening in South Korea. And it's for a pretty valid reason. So just as a disclaimer, I want to let everybody know that I'm not a professional on this subject. And basically, I'm going to give my opinion on the current events that are happening in Korea. If any of the information that I'm giving is incorrect, then please educate me. Put it in the comments, send me a message, tweet, anything like that. Please educate me because I want to know where I'm wrong if I am. I'm putting some of the sources that I've used in the description box below. So with that being said, let's get started. So in February of 2013, the conservative president Park Geun-hye was voted into office. She's the first woman president of South Korea, who is the daughter of former war dictator Park Chung-hee. Park Chung-hee was assassinated when Park Geun-hye was a child. This garnered what many people would consider pity votes from the older people of South Korea, who in turn voted Park Geun-hye into office.
Now meet Choi Soon-sil. She is the prime cause
of all of this controversy that is happening in Korea right now. She is the 60-year-old longtime friend of President Park Geun-hye. Her father, Choi Tae-min, claimed to be a shaman, and he was the leader of a cult called the Church of Eternal Life. And this cult claimed things such as being able to contact the dead. Choi Tae-min contacted Park Geun-hye. What he said to her was that Park Geun-hye's mother actually contacted him through the dead after she was assassinated. And this was Choi Soon-sil's way in to the Blue House complex.
And the Blue House is basically the Korean White House.
So, at the end of October 2016, breaking news came in. People started investigating Choi Soon-sil's daughter. She got into Ewha Women's University without many merits. Her high school records show that she didn't have good grades, she didn't really attend class, and she had nothing very special or exceptional about her. Which in Korea, you would know that everything is very competitive when it comes to high school. High schoolers often are under a lot of pressure, and so this angered a lot of people. It sparked protests on Ewha's campus and demonstrations and strikes. These demonstrations eventually led to the resignation of Ewha's president.
But it didn't end there.
Investigations opened up into Ewha's admissions office and further into Choi Soon-sil because of her connection to power and Park Geun-hye. Choi Soon-sil fled to Germany and did something quite stupid. She discarded of her tablet improperly, so a huge news agency actually found the tablet in the trash.
Allegedly.
And on this tablet were drafts of speeches that Park Geun-hye was going to give. Now, there were over 44 speeches that Choi Soon-sil was editing between 2012 and 2014. Choi Soon-sil is not an elected official, and she is actually a completely private citizen. That is why this is an issue. And so Park Geun-hye apologized even though they initially denied this. Her apology stated, "I deeply apologize to the people. I have listened to her opinion on certain materials, but stopped after I appointed my presidential aide." And the problem with this is it's actually not true at all. Videos arose afterwards of Choi Soon-sil giving commands to presidential aides who then kowtowed to her and bowed and did what she wanted them to do, which showed an amount of power that she had over the president's aides. So now what the scandal revolves around is Park Geun-hye and Choi Soon-sil's using of their influence to peddle or racketeer money from corporations to their private foundations. And to divert attention away from all of this, Park Geun-hye has shaken up her cabinet, fired many members, including the Prime Minister of Korea. But this has not stopped new allegations. Choi Soon-sil is actually being indicted right now. She has been brought to Korea and is sitting in jail because of these allegations. It has been accused that she has funneled money from companies or corporations such as Samsung and Hyundai by using her connections to the president. And now federal prosecutors are actually coming out and saying that they have reason to believe that Park Geun-hye is actually directly involved in these conflicts of interest. Now, she won't be indicted though, because sitting presidents cannot be indicted. However, after she resigns or her term is over, she can be, which will likely happen. And because of this, there are massive protests throughout Korea. Literally millions of Koreans are coming out and protesting. So the goal of these protests is to get Park Geun-hye to step down or resign. And the reason for this is because of the corruption and the selfishness and the abuse of power that they entrusted in her. This is why you hear them screaming things like Haya and Tejin. I think I'm saying that right, probably not. And so far, Park Geun-hye has refused to step down unless the National Assembly impeaches her. As of now, the National Assembly doesn't actually have the votes to outright impeach her, but party leaders, especially in her party, are pressuring her to resign by a certain date, and the date suggested is in April. And this isn't enough for Korean people. They feel she needs to step down now and immediately to reserve her dignity and the dignity of the presidential office. This past Saturday, December 3rd, I attended one in Gwanghwamun Square, which is basically where Seoul City Hall is and the Blue House is located. I went with a classmate turned friend of mine, Geun Hye, who is a genius about everything that has to do with Korean politics. And this was actually the biggest demonstration yet. About 1.2 million people came and about 2.8 people protested nationwide, which, if you compare it to the US's population, is the equivalent of about 15 million people going out and protesting. It was nearly impossible to move around, but it was still so much fun.
Let me explain that when I say so much fun.
This is a serious event that's happening politically and can dishearten a lot of people, but the protests actually presented a lot of camaraderie with chanting and happiness. There were tons of people with similar signs. Flags of all ideologies were being waved around for one cause. It was also kind of funny because effigies and cardboard cutouts of Park Geun-hye were being paraded around the square. Furthermore, there were big screen TVs playing anti-Park Geun-hye videos. Citizens were giving a microphone and a platform to preach. They were allowed to vent, to rally. And what was interesting was the local government actually encouraged all of this. Police officers were redirecting traffic the whole time and offering protection to the protesters. And this is a tangent here. I'm about to turn it around on the US, but in the US we don't get any of this. A big reason protests are shut down are because of interruption of traffic or because police won't allow a protest. But when local governments actually help facilitate protests, people are happy. Geun Hye said that's why people help clean up after protests. There were hundreds of people with trash bags walking around just picking up trash after the protests were over, and it was sort of as a thank you to the local government so they wouldn't have to clean it up themselves. Anyways, these protests are happening every Saturday in Gwanghwamun Square. I will try to go to as many as possible. If you would like to go to one with me, then please contact me on Kakao. I would be more than happy to join you. I'm going to try and get my friends to go to it. To end this video, I'm going to throw a few clips of footage that I took while I was at Gwanghwamun Square protesting. As usual, thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel.
돼지들아! 너의 퇴진 어림없다! 당장 방을 빼라! 여기 이 학생 나와주세요.
Justice Party. Oh. Bachang Kami.